want to read, yeah, that would be great. It's a pleasure to have you with us, you know.
And I
Because
was the first one here before you two from Malawi.
yes, I mean, you
How
are
good
amazing.
is that?
You know how we believe in you so much.
You see, the internet
Yes.
in Malawi will not let me down.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, and greetings to those of you joining us on our YouTube channel. We greet you in the name of the African nationalities, those who have gone before, those who are today, and those who are yet to come. We have met again, as we normally do, on Thursdays. Today is the 29th of August, 2024. And why are we here? We are here to discuss, to read first, and discuss specific sections of the progressive philosophy and ideology of progressivism in Africa, which is the book bestowed onto us by our own father, grandfather, uncle, however you want to term it, Osajifo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, from the Gold Coast and then Ghana. Yeah, so we share his philosophy and ideology. And the reason we share is so that the young ones, especially, who are not averse with philosophy and ideology, will understand that in order for them to prosecute, to use Kamala Harris' term, or to fight or to struggle, to use the Marxist term, for their liberation, the total unification and development of Africa, that they have to have the philosophical perspective that gives them the tools in all directions for them to be able to fight this fight. The mind of man, by man I mean women and men, is where the greatest struggle goes on. The Muslims call it jihad, which is the struggle, the inner struggle for supremacy, whether it is the mind that has supremacy, or whether it is the body that has supremacy, whether it's the soul, the spirit, however you want to term it. But for us in Constantism, that which should have supremacy is the materialist perspective, not the idealist perspective. So every Thursday we meet, we read, and we discuss, hoping that this discussion will seep into the body politic of Africa, so that Africans can begin to understand what is required in order to continue the struggle where the Nkrumahs left off. Without a thorough understanding and mastery of Constantism, Africa must unite, and neocolonialism, the last stage of imperialism. Unless we have a clear mastery of these, we lack the tools to fight and wage the struggle today. And that is why some of us, those of us in this class, for example, Brother Carrington, who is our resident physicist, our brother based in Kenya, Brother Pigbin, or Pigeon, as he would like to be called, Sister Grace Chizomo, who is based in Africa, Malawi. All of us are here because we want a new Africa. And so we attend this class, and although we are 4 at the moment, others will join us. And we are just the early comers. So welcome, and let's proceed. I believe I have shared the page and the section we are on today. It's on the screen, and our dear sister Grace Chizomo, is happy to read for us. So Sister Chizomo is going to read for us. Let's all remember, when we read very slowly.
Very slowly.
Follow
Okay.
what the reason we read slowly is so that everyone can follow what we are reading and be following it intellectually or conceptually from concept to concept as they read, so that by the time the reader finishes, everyone is in a position to share their thinking. So thank you, Sister Chizomo. Are you ready to read?
Okay.
If you are ready, please proceed. Remember, read slow.
In the examples chosen, I have tried to illustrate the way in which early materialist philosophy of a monist-like kind is suggested by social phenomena, and
Slowly.
in turn,
slowly,
very slowly,
slowly. Enjoy what you are reading.
And in turn inspires social phenomena and policy. I can perhaps illustrate the way in which idealist philosophy serves the same function by citing the philosophy of Anaxagoras. In this philosophy, the divesting of the universe were said to arise from seeds. These seeds of the things that were conceived after such a fashion that they represented minute universes.
Slowly. Thank you.
Slowly. Each seed, in fact, containing the whole range of diversity in the macrocosmic universe. Each specific object was nothing but an accretion of seeds. The whole agglomeration of seeds constituting the universe was said by Anaxagoras to have an internal principle of motion. Naturally, a principle of motion was required to regulate the quantities of seed involved in each object if this was to be the source of the differences between things. And this principle of motion was for Anaxagoras an intellectualist one. He called it, is that right, nous and reason, nous, yes, reason mind.
Thank you. Sister Chizomo. Yes, Brother Pidgeon. Yes, Brother Pidgeon.
You'll permit me to read the Swahili version.
To read, sorry?
To read the Swahili version.
Before that, Sister Chizomo, can you read it again for us, please? We enjoyed your reading. Before you read again, Brother Prince, Prince has joined us. Is that Prince of KNII? I just want to confirm, that's all.
No, okay. There's not. I'm a prince from Nigeria.
Thank you. Okay. Are you a real prince, or that's just your name?
It's just my name.
Okay.
Just my name, yeah.
No worries. Thank you very much. Welcome, Brother Prince. You are in the right place. Remember your first president, Azikiwe?
Yes.
He's the one that inspired Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
True.
Remember to go to the US
True.
So he can study in the US,
True.
because Ezekiel himself has studied there.
Yes.
And he was in the Gold Coast, and
You're very
Nkrumah
correct.
came to see him. Yeah.
Yes.
And that is where he advised him, because
Yes.
Ezekiel was told there was a young man waiting to see you. And when he
Yes.
went, Nkrumah was waiting to see him. So, Brother Prince, we are one.
100%.
And Nigeria,
100%.
we are one.
100%.
People like to divide us, but listen, we are one. Yeah.
Yes.
And when you guys wake up, because you know you are sleeping, don't you? When you wake up and you set your continent, now Africa, let us unite. You know we will all follow you guys, because you are the powerhouse of the continent.
Very well.
We are just the ideological lead, but you guys are the powerhouse. And our brothers in Kenya have shown that they are the Gen Zs who can begin to set example.
Yeah, they've set the example already. They've already taken the lead, you know.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Sister Chisomo, we are ready for you. Read again for us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
You're welcome, sir.
In the example chosen, I have tried to illustrate the way in which early materialist philosophy of a monist kind is suggested by social phenomena, and in turn inspires social phenomena and policy. I can perhaps illustrate the way in which idealist philosophy serves the same function by citing the philosophy of Anaxagoras. In this philosophy, the diverse things of the universe were said to arise from seeds. These seeds of the things that were conceived after such a fashion that they represented minute universes, each seed, in fact, containing the whole range of diversity in the macrocosmic universe. Each specific object was nothing but an accretion of seeds. The whole agglomeration of seeds constituting the universe was said by Anaxagoras to have an external principle of motion. Naturally, a principle of motion was required to regulate the quantities of seeds involved in each object if this was to be the source of the differences between things. And this principle of motion was for Anaxagoras an intellectualist one. He called it, what was it? Gnosis, reason, mind.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, Brother Prince, this is your first time joining us. Brother Prince, is this the first time joining us?
Not really. I've participated on 2 occasions before.
Excellent. So you know how it works.
Yeah.
After reading, we share our thinking.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you. So we're going to now share our thinking. There are 6 of us on the call at the moment, on the class at the moment. Since Sister Chizomo has read for us, we won't start with her. We'll start with others, and then we'll come to Sister Chizomo herself later. So can we, one person has dropped off. I think that might be, who is dropped off? Let's see. Oh, brother Pigeon has dropped off. He's having internet challenges.
Yeah, I think so.
Brother Prince,
Yes,
are you
sir.
able to share your thinking with us on what you have heard?
Well, I didn't start from I didn't follow up from when she started reading, but I think I'll probably step aside for
Yes,
for the next person to. Yeah.
That's fine. In that case, just read what Sister Chizumo has read twice, and then you can come back later.
Yeah.
Sister Ida.
I'm not sure I understand what nous or no us.
You are very sure. It just means mind.
So mind, reason, mind.
Yeah, mind, the human mind, or the cosmic mind, or the divine mind, however you want to put it. The point is that it is Jomo in your language, Jomo. Adrian.
Okay. I think that
Sister Ida.
Yes, sir.
Hold on. Continue thinking through your thoughts. Let Brother Pigeon, who is now back, read from the Swahili version.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, Brother Pigeon.
Can I? Oh, it's gone. Okay.
I
was going
again.
to say there had been a.
No, he's here.
Yes, he's here. But it was like the recording had a mute to it, but I see the mute has gone. Okay.
Yeah, that could be because Brother Pigeon went off. But the red light is on, so it's fine, yes.
Yeah, it had the red light, but just beside it, I'd never seen it before. It had the microphone mute.
Okay, but it's fine now. Yeah. Brother Pigeon, Swahili version, are you able to read for us before we continue?
Yes, I'm able to read for member. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay. Katika mifano iliyochaguliwa, nimejaribu kueleza jinsi falsafa ya mapema ya uyakinifu ya aina ya monaki inavyopendekezwa na matukio ya kijamii, na kwa upande wake kuhamasisha matukio ya kijamii na sera. Labda nimeweza kueleza jinsi falsafa ya kiitikadi inavyofanya kazi sawa kwa kutaja falsafa ya Anaxagoras. Katika falsafa hii, mambo anuwai ya ulimwengu yalisemwa kutoka kwa mbegu. Mbegu hizi za vitu ambavyo vimechukuliwa baada ya mtindo ambao waliwakilisha ulimwengu wa dakika. Kila mbegu kwa kweli iliyo na utofauti wote katika ulimwengu wa macrocosmic. Kila kitu maalum haikuwa kitu, lakini kibali cha mbegu. Mchanganyiko wote wa mbegu zinaounda ulimwengu ulisemwa na Anaxagoras kuwa na kanuni ya nje ya mwendo. Kwa kawaida, kanuni ya mwendo ilihitajika kudhibiti idadi ya mbegu zinazohusika katika kila kitu. Ikiwa hii ingekuwa chanzo cha tofauti kati ya vitu. Na kanuni hii ya mwendo ilikuwa ya Anaxagoras, mtu mwenye akili. Aliita nous, sababu akili. That's it. Thank you.
And thank you in Swahili is it asante sana?
Asante.
Asante. Brother Pigeon, asante. Thank you, Asante. So, Sister Ida, you've had a bit of time now to rethink more, yeah?
Yes.
Brother Prince has dropped off. Yes, proceed.
I think we got someone else as well.
The Nigerian diaspora movement, yes.
Okay. I've forgotten in my head exactly what monist type kind means. And I think monist means single, is it?
Well, the word monist, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, monist just means one. Single.
Single, yeah, okay.
The same thing, yes. So
okay.
monistic simply means from one thing. And the other word, nous, is mind.
Mind, okay. Yeah. Okay. So
any other word you're happy? Any other word you want to?
No. It was just I was thinking the monist was single, so that's why.
Okay.
So it's telling us that at least to me, the early philosophy was almost only a single type of philosophy, where I think at the time it was probably the monks would really do the bits of suggestions and ideas, and that's how their ideas spread. But they had but I find it interesting that whoever ideas it was, they believe that it says Anaxagoras. I don't know whether he was a monk or not, of the religious sort of class, but that his philosophy was about seeds, and that things arose from that seeds spread round in a fashion where that ideas were seeds, maybe, and that those ideas spread. And that they had a sort of motion to them, which helped them spread.
Sister Ida.
Yeah, you feel I'm getting lost.
No. I just wanted to support you. In terms of who he was born in 500 BC in the Persian Empire, even though he was Greek. He died in 428 BC. He was interested in natural philosophy. Now, and your question was whether he was a monk, yeah?
Well, because they were the ones that seemed to spread most of the ideas at the time.
Okay, so he was a teacher. He was a friend and teacher of the Athenian statesman Pericles. And so that's what he was. He was not a monk in the sense in which the Buddhists would put it. But if you want to see a monk as someone who was also a teacher, then in that sense, he was a monk.
Okay, what I meant by monk is of a religious persuasion, whether some of the people who were religious taught.
Well,
children
from what from what Sister Chizomo has read, he was moving away from that, wasn't he? He is basically suggesting an alternative explanation for the universe. So unlike the priestly aristocracy,
that's the word. Okay.
Yeah, who explained the universe in terms of spirits and gods and an almighty God and so on. He was suggesting something different, which is that the universe was made up of seeds. So that means that he was not a priest in that sense. He was against the priests.
Yeah, he sounds almost like the first sort of naturalist.
Yes, so that makes him a naturalist because he's explaining the universe in terms of nature.
Yeah.
Do you remember the ones we saw earlier? Who did it say? Do you remember the ones that we looked at? Who did the same? Who also explained the universe in terms of nature?
Of water, maybe.
Water, yeah. Who was that? You remember his name?
Pericles or something like that.
That's with the T.
Eh?
His name starts with a T. T.
Idealist.
T. Thales, yes, T. Thales, that's it. Yeah. So remember, Thales explained the universe in terms of water. So in that sense, he was a naturalist philosopher. And Anaxagoras is doing something similar, isn't he? He's also explained the universe in terms of something that you can find in nature, which is seeds. So that means he's deviating from those who want to explain the universe with reference to an unknown being called Spirit, or the Great Spirit, or the Holy Spirit, however spirit you want to call it. Does that help?
I missed that bit of the spirit. Contains the whole range of diversity in a microcosmic universe. I think the fact that
before you go on, do you understand the microcosmic and the macrocosmic? Do you understand what
micro is small, macro is big?
Is big, yeah. In other words, if you take the universe as a whole, that's the macrocosmic universe. Every small element in it is a reflection of it. So that's a yeah. So yes, that's correct.
Okay. So I think that two other people who later on did that by explaining it in terms of nature would be Darwin and the other guy who did peas. He was a minister as well of some sort. He did peas and seeds, peas more.
You mean
and he did
seeds?
Sorry?
You said seeds, you said.
He did peas. Yes, so seed pods, peas.
Oh, peas as in P-A-P-E-A-C-E.
Yeah, it was P-E-A-S. It was after Darwin. He was also a priest. But he explained, he did.
Did you say P-E-A-S?
Yeah, peas, sweet peas.
Okay, he explained the universe in terms of sweet peas.
Well, no, he explained, oh dear, help. Something to do with human, oh, now I'm getting it all confused. Genetics. He did genetics, so he was explaining humans, for what humans, how you get male, female, all sorts of genetics. So I mean, all I'm trying to say is that there are people who choose to use nature.
You meant the guy called Francis Galton.
Francis who? No.
Francis Galton.
No. Before him, the first.
He conducted experiments with sweet peas.
No, it's before him.
Before him.
Let's ask our great physicists. Do you know the name
of who?
Oh, Brother Carrington. Brother Carrington.
Brother Carrington. The name of who? If you let us know
the name of the person who did genetics.
Genetics.
Mendel,
yes.
Mendel.
Oh, it could be Mendel. Yeah, it could be Mendel. Yes. Okay.
So, was he a bishop or something? I forget.
I don't think he was a bishop, but he was religious of some sort.
Yes.
Gregor Mendel.
Yeah.
And he also did experiments
Gregor.
On pea plants.
Yes. Yeah.
Inheritance. Inheritance of genetics.
Yeah, how genetics. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that along the way, people have used different bits of nature to explain how they see, if it's genetics or if it's the diversity of nature and how it changes. So to me, this sounds like he's almost the first that I've heard of. And his was seeds and spreading of seeds, because in nature you do see seeds spreading.
So you mean he's the first of what?
Of the naturalists, in a way, who look at nature to explain.
Thales was before him.
Thales was water, which I don't. I know we all need it.
Well,
but
Thales is nature. Thales is also nature.
So it would seem that the people of the past tended to look around them and see nature and try to explain it. So I see this as an example.
Excellent. Anything else you want to add?
I quite like the fact that he talks about motion, that the spread of seeds comes through motion. So I find that's, I think that they are the beginning of a lot of whether it's geography or whether it's biology. But theirs was more sounded like it's more philosophical, whereas these have then gone on to be different sciences.
Can I ask a question as you come to the end of your contribution? Do you think that if the class was to ask you, so based on what you have read, what you have explained, what do you think Anaxagoras was? Was he a materialist or was he an idealist? What would your response be?
Well, he's using material objects to explain, so I think he'll be more a materialist than an idealist, because idealists seem to just sort of I think of idealists as talking of gods, and I don't know that it's necessarily statue worship, but to me, I think the difference is one uses what they see and the other one will make up.
So idealists explain the universe in terms of mind and spirits, and materialists.
I think they make up things. It's how I in my head I would explain them.
Yeah. That's a good way of looking at it, because one could argue that God is made up. But coming back to the principle, so idealists explain the universe in terms of minds and spirits, and materialists.
I don't know that God is made up. Now you're testing my religious.
You said it, and materialists explain the universe in terms of nature. That being the case, your answer to the question was he's both. Is that correct? Is that what you're saying? That he comes
I
across
think
as
he's
both
more
a
a
materialist and an idealist.
I don't see him. Okay, maybe he can't explain it well.
Where does the motion come from according to him?
Sorry?
Where does the motion come from according to him? What is the source of the motion according to Anaxagoras?
He doesn't fully explain that.
Yeah, he does.
But
he does.
Oh, does he? An example principle of motion.
He did. He used a certain
External
word.
principle.
And you ask the meaning of that word.
Are we talking? Mind. Okay. No.
Yes. That is the principle that is the source of motion, according to him.
What? That it's people's minds.
No. He said mind is a principle that is responsible for motion.
Mind is a principle that's responsible for motion.
In terms of what?
Now you see, that would then make him an idealist.
An idealist. So we
Which
see here,
I haven't really thought of him as an idealist.
So thanks for noticing that. So here we have someone who is saying that we can explain the universe using a materialist element, seeds, and at the same time says actually the source of motion for those seeds is from mind. So he is both a materialist and an idealist. Final question, Snyder. Final question. Do you think he's probably confused? What do you think?
He seems to have said it as I haven't read the next paragraph, but he seems to have said it almost as a throwaway thing, even though he uses it 3 times: mind, reason, mind.
Okay.
I think he's maybe trying to keep up with the people of the time who might have been idealists, but I think that the fact that he calls He
So,
calls seeds, you know, he brings nature into things in the form of seeds. And if you look at seeds being spread by the wind and stuff, I would have thought that was the motion. I wouldn't have thought it was the mind.
So you think from what you said that even though he was proposing something new as the explanatory model of the universe, which is seeds, at the same time, he's trying to pacify those in power somewhat, and the priests, by saying, okay, the principle of motion comes from you guys, but actually the seeds are responsible. So he's trying to play both camps, as it were. He's been clever.
Yes, I think so, slightly.
Keeping everybody on board. Okay, thank you, Sister Ida, for your contribution. Let's now, so what we do, we listen to a woman and then a man, or a man and a woman. We go in that sense. So let's now hear a man's voice. So let's go for Brother Pigeon, please. Thank you. Brother Pigeon, let's hear your think on this.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you can. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to share my thinking in regards to some few things that have been mentioned in this paragraph. One is I'm getting the aspect of monist, the monist approach. And basically, this actually tend to explain or suggest that the material world is a fundamental reality. Of course, that's what we know from the materialist position, that material world is the fundamental reality and that everything can be explained in terms of matter. But there's also the social phenomena that I'm seeing here, where you see that actually the text just to maybe try to explain further that, of course, social phenomena can illustrate this materialist perspective. Of course, like maybe if you think of maybe economic factors which might influence social behavior, and social structures might also shape economic outcomes. If you look at in a society where maybe there is an imbalance of economics or factors in economics can influence the behavior for society. But also there's also the aspect of policies here, which I'm saying. But understanding the materialist, of course, connection can guide in policy decision. Maybe when you say the economics and the social behavior.
Brother Pigeon,
yes.
I'm struggling to hear you clearly. I don't know if everyone else is, but just bear that in mind.
Can anyone say the same?
It's not coming up. It's not coming up. We are hearing you.
We're hearing you, but it's muffled a bit muffled.
Okay, am I better off now? Maybe if I have to increase.
Yes.
It's better now.
Okay, as I was saying that the aspect I'm finding in monist approach are social phenomena, like when they say, of course, the social phenomena or the social factors in a society can influence actually the behaviors or materialist perspectives. And this is like maybe if you talk of economic factors which might influence social behavior in a society, or even social structure of a society, might also shape economic outcomes of a society. But there's this aspect of policy. You see, and they say, of course, understanding this material connection can also guide policy decision. For example, if you have policies that are aiming to improve economic condition, you might expect that those policies will have a positive income or output or impact to our society. So that's the first aspect of materialist approach that I'm finding here that Anaxagoras is getting into. But there's the idealist aspect of philosophy that is also coming up with, which is the example that Anaxagoras is coming up with here, which of course Anaxagoras offer now an example of idealism, where ideas and mental concepts are considered fundamental here, you see. So in the other aspect, you get the material aspect are considered to be fundamental. Here is now where he offers ideas and mind, which is the idealism position, being the fundamental concepts here for consideration. And he brings this idea of seeds of diversity, where basically, if you see it very well, he tried to say that the universe is composed of seeds, each seed containing the whole range of diversity. And that suggests that ideas or concepts are building block of a reality. There's now, it brings the life into this so-called seeds, that it brings the motion, or the principle of motion, and which he now brings the idea of mind here as an external principle that then governs the combination of these seeds and shaping the specific objects in the universe. So basically, that's what I'm seeing here. But also, as Brother Kwame has said it, again, you see, now here is where there's now an argument of both materialist and idealist philosophy as having an influence in a society, or can influence a society in one way or the other. So basically, this is what I'm getting here. And it's very important that we see how this now works, because this is the first time I'm getting now somebody who is now appearing to be both materialist and the same time being idealist. I know he's being the aspect of seed. I know it was Heraclitus or Anaximander who came up with the idea of fire, who would try to bring the equality, something that is senseless, motionless, something like that. Then we had the idea of water sometimes back there. So basically, that's what I can say from this paragraph. Thank you.
And what do you think? Do you think that he is right to mix idealism with materialism the way he has?
The only problem I find, because from materialism, idealism can come out of materialism. Well, as what we say, matter is the primary reality. Well, idealism can be a secondary reality from primary reality. But here is trying to put both in primary reality, which then brings the collision of thinking, or what is clear positions. Because you can't claim the two of them are primary reality or fundamental. So which one is now diverging in the principle of convergence and other divergence? How do then one come out of other? Because to materialist position is that ideas cannot exist without a body, or without a brain, or without a physical skull of a body. And then now does the all processes of the nerves or the blood system that then brings that aspect of thinking or mind. So it's imperative that it's actually funny that he claims that both can exist independently, which is very funny. So I don't think he's right here. He's a bit confused. Maybe he has a reason why he's bringing this confusion here. Maybe somebody can help us understand to why.
Could it be that he's trying to pacify both camps? By both camps, I mean the camp of the priestly aristocracy, who they are trying to overthrow, and the mercantile class, who want supremacy. So he as a philosopher, do you think he's trying to bring them together and say, actually, you are both right? Don't worry, you don't need to fight. You are both
basically. How can two rights? No. No. Basically, how can two rights exist? For example, if you talk of priesthood, aristocratic priesthood, and aristocratic priesthood is actually based on their so-called divine power, divine authority from somewhere, the supernatural power. But then that the supernatural power, if in their own thinking, is given them to actually explain or lead who? The people, the so-called the ordinary citizens. So how do, like in the example, how do leaders exist without followers, or without the people? The people that give back to the leaders. So you try to say that both of them can be independent factions. One is born a leader, one is born a citizen. That's basically can't work out, because one must come from another.
I'm saying that you can have someone like President Ruto, who will invite a priest to come and pray in Kenya whilst he kneels down with his wife, and at the same time goes to Parliament and punches a finance bill for the people. He's trying to pacify both. That is what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting that there are people who will try to let us think or know that actually the two are on the same plane, that we don't need to worry.
That's basically what Anaxagoras is trying to do here. But what he's trying to do, what he's trying to do, that's why it's called an intellectual one. You see, that's why they bring the aspect of intellectual one here. basically, I think that is a that's what basically the intellects could try to bring. But that's the only way to salvage the intellects from the reality or from the position of the majority population.
So he's trying to make both parties feel good about themselves so that society doesn't erupt. Because remember, Heraclitus talked about fire.
Yes.
Yeah? And Anaximander talks about the boundless.
Yes.
When there is fire, people can die. Because fire is very dangerous. So you have to bring the two parties together. Anyway, your final comments before we move on.
Based on our previous readings of the rule of thumb, the principle of social justice and equality in a society, the two can't be equal in a society. There must be one that is actually a derivation from another one. And to us, matter is the primary reality. If idealism has to come, is a secondary reality from matter, because there's no idea without a person or without a body. You can't say that idea came first for you to be born. It's you who are born, then the brain filled in with ideas and things move on. You can't say that the idea came before you. Where were you when the idea came before you, basically? So it's trying to run away from the reality, and we must face the reality in order to cure the society. Thank you.
So what if those with the spiritual power have the political power? What if those in office hold political power are those who are on the side of the mind, as opposed to those who are on the side of materialism and do not have political power? And there is constant strife like we have in Malawi. Then what do you do then? You might say that, okay, the idealists are wrong, matter is primary, fine, but you don't have political power. And those guys are those who are making policy, deciding how much will be spent on education. They control the education system. So then,
okay.
What do you do?
even in Islamic states, the government do not do the business of praying alone. They work on the property matter of the people. It's not an Islamic state that is a church as a state, but it's what worked on fundamental materialist position or welfare of the people. They don't just pray and praise from morning to evening.
But when the Ramadan comes, food is very expensive. It is controlled by certain people. Okay, thank you, Brother Pigeon, for your view on what we have read. Sister Ida, you had your hand up. Did you want to comment?
I did because I was reminded of our great cathedral in Ghana.
The great cathedral.
Which still
but
after...
Remember, it hasn't been built yet.
Yeah, exactly. So which still after two terms, it's still waiting to be built.
It might never be built.
Idealists don't always win.
Even the one that was built in Ivory Coast.
Yes. But those in power may try to use it.
Not much has come of it.
There you go.
Anyway, thank you. Let's now hear from a woman. Brother Glenroy, welcome. Brother James, welcome. Flomina Mucheki, welcome. Sister Marlene, welcome. Brother Coco, welcome. Sister Myra, welcome. Right, so let's hear from a woman. Shall we hear from Sister Myra? Sister Chizomo did the reading for us, so we'll come to her in a moment. Sister Myra, what do you think?
I like the discussion that you had with Sister Ida, because it got me thinking. And you also then asked a question to Brother Pigeon. You said, do you think Anaxagoras, is mixing materialism and idealism? And I want to bring it to our contemporary times and our history. The idea is, for me, this Anaxagoras illustrates a very, very typical characteristic of the idealists. They have no problems with contradictions. There was the slave trade, and then they abolished it. Then now they champion themselves, especially the British Empire. They champion themselves as the freedom fighters and humanity lovers. But then when you look under the bonnet, you find out actually what was happening was that the mercantile era was going out and the industrial revolution was starting. Okay, then you come forward. Then you look at the religions, and they have no problems with upholding racial oppression, and at the same time, their religion, which says that Christ loves everyone equally. No problem. They don't even blink about that. Okay. Then you look at independence. They say, oh, you have independence. But then you look under the bonnet, and then there they are with neocolonialism there, plundering away. And I can bet that in the future, if we keep up these efforts, they will champion Pan-Africanism. They will say they're the ones that brought it up. They gave it to us, and we should celebrate them. So for me, this is what jumped out as we were discussing with Brother Pigeon and Sister Ida. They have this characteristic of just holding contradictions in the same place without even blinking or seeing it as very, very strange. They put concepts that just do not work. Freedom and oppression, no problem. So I think for me, what it says that as I'm learning to be a philosophical thinker in consensusism, I need to be very, very critical in my thinking and really look under the bonnet of anything, especially what the imperialists say, and really examine it and look and pull it apart and examine it to understand where exactly is it coming from. Is it really for us, or is it hiding something? It's them.
Sister Mara, thank you very much. Nkrumah gave an analogical example of the mouse. So the mouse will, once it's biting you, will be blowing air, cool air.
Yes, yes.
So that's
Sorry,
about
can you repeat that? The mouse, while it's biting you, will do what?
Yeah, if you've ever been bitten by a mouse, Sister Ida, once it's biting, you'll be blowing cool air on the place it's biting.
Oh, okay.
And the other example Nkrumah gives is the British philosophy, which he puts this way: they run with, they hunt with the hounds and run with the hare. So once the hound is running to catch the hare, the British will be running with the hound. At the same time, they also be running with the hare. So,
that's that way.
That is the British policy for you. In essence, they are with you. Once you are suffering, they are with you. We sympathize with you. We are for you. We don't want anything to happen to you. At the same time, they are funding those who are doing the harm.
Yes.
You remember recently we had a situation where the Labour Party was, if you like, attacking those from the minorities. You will follow this following you. A classic example was the MP for what's his name? Brother Glenroy. What's her name? The MP for the woman.
Diane Abbott.
Diane Abbott. And they were attacking Diane Abbott, trying to remove her as an MP, using language that the Labour Party itself had used, that she was like a snake, she was slithering. They dehumanized her and used language like she was slithering down Westminster. The Labour Party was using such language. and then when they came to office, race riots, well, maybe not race riots, but there was riots in the UK across the whole country. And the right was mad, and so on and so forth. And then Keir Starmer, oh, we're going to deal with them. Oh, yes, what they are doing is not right. The courts are going to sit even at weekends to make sure we deal with them very speedily. But you were the same person who was fanning race animosity. You were the ones fanning it. Now you know this happened. You are saying, oh, no. So Samira, you hit the nail right on the head. And Anaxagoras appears, Brother Pigeon, it looks Anaxagoras is an example of the kind of philosophers we must watch out for. They claim to be on our side, but when they leave our meetings, they go and they eat dinner with the enemy. Right. So let's hear from a man this time. Brother. Yes. Yes. Yes.
You just permit me to recognize the presence of the few two here. One is the group from Africa Young Leaders Foundation. I think I've told you about them. The group of young leaders from across the continent. The founder of the African Young Leaders Foundation is here, Brother James Aporoko, who is from Ghana, but was also the president of African Law Student Association, and is together with the co-founder, Brother Kofi here. And you also have Sister Flomina Musheke, who is from Kenya, and is also engaged in a lot of civil societies and international organizations as well. So they have joined us first time today. So permit me just to recognize them as well. Thank you.
Thank you for recognizing them. We would like them to know. Yeah, we would like them to know that we are here basically to study the philosophy and the ideology of the Osagifo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the father of Pan-Africanism, as he is labeled. And that's why we are here, and we study his book, Constituting, which is a philosophy and ideology for decolonization with specific reference to the African Revolution. And the African Revolution is the liberation, unification, and the development of Africa. That project has not finished. It has stalled, but it continues unabated. So one of the purposes why we are doing this is so that our young people will see the light of consensusism, and be drawn to the light and basically get the tools that they need in order to fight and win the war. We need to win this war for the African people. So the African Young Leaders Foundation, we need from you guys a new curriculum for African leadership. And the young people must then get onto this course and learn what it takes to lead a continent, because it is hard work. It's very hard work. It's very hard work. And the fact that the book itself, Constituting, is in itself, some say difficult, is an indication of what it takes. So welcome, Brother James, Sister Flomina, and the others. Thank you for joining us. We hope you continue to join us. We know you can't make it every Thursday. Some of us do, but if you can, as long as you can, do join us. If you can't join us and you miss a class, we share the class on YouTube. And Brother Pigeon here is like our head of secretariat, and he shares the videos on YouTube. You can always go there, and there you will listen to and be part of anything you have missed. So welcome. If you can also join us on Saturdays, that would be great. Right, the time is 5 minutes past 8. We have read and we are sharing our thinking, and that's what we do. And the reason we do this is because Nkrumah said that we must master 3 books. This one we are reading, Africa Must Unite, and Neocolonialism, the Last Stage of Imperialism. Those are the 3 books Nkrumah has asked us to master. Because the philosophy is the most difficult, we are handling that. And then on Saturdays, we are doing the Africa Must Unite, which is the unification. We haven't yet devoted a day to the economics, but we will very soon, where we will focus on neocolonialism, the last stage of imperialism. And so with those 3 sessions and 3 books, which we will get to, we will then be covering the 3 aspects: philosophy, politics, and economics. Philosophy being constitutionalism, politics being Africa Must Unite, economics being neocolonialism, the last stage of imperialism. With these 3 tools, as it is in the West, as it is everywhere, our young people will have the tools to lead the continent. So thank you very much once again. Dr. Duche, welcome also. Dekin, welcome also. Mauli, also welcome. So let's continue with sharing our thinking. We've heard from Sister Myra and who just shared with us. So let's now hear from a man. So can Brother Glenroy share with us, please? Thank you. Yes, brother, you are unmuted. Share your thinking with us. Thank you.
Not sure why. I think my microphone is playing up. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now, sir.
Okay. Can you still hear me?
We can indeed.
Okay. Yeah, I was saying, just join and just reading the highlighted section. So I would rather continue thinking about it rather than speak now.
That's
so
fine.
If you could pass on to someone else, and I'll raise my hand in a little while. Thank you.
That's fine, brother. Coco. Coco Chacho.
Hello.
Our brother from Lesotho, the source of African Ubuntu nationalism. Brother Coco, what do you think?
Thank you, brother. What an introduction. I looked at this paragraph and I said, it's a short paragraph. Hopefully we'll go through this one and go to the next one before tonight is over. But once you started discussing with Sister Ida, I got interested. Lots of stuff are coming out.
No, you are right.
And then,
you are right,
yeah. And then Sister Mara.
Who would have thought that Sister Mara will remind us of sweet peace experiments? Just imagine. I mean, amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, Francis Galton did sweet peace experiment. So did Mendel, notorious for racism. I mean, who would have thought? But yeah, here you go. No, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Sister Mara actually provoked me when we looked at the hypocrisy. Of white privilege. They are always the savior. There's that savior mentality about them. And then you sit and you think about Palestine. Exactly what you're saying here. At the same time, they don't want to be seen to be funding the genocide there. But at the same time, they're saying Israel has a right to defend itself.
Precisely.
All contradictions.
Anaxagoras for you, sir.
Exactly. It's simple as that. And I thank you, Sister Myra, for putting it out there that it's what they are made up of. It's always about putting their names first, especially when it's convenient for them. Do you think carefully about religion? If you think carefully, in the beginning when they first came here for slavery, their concept was that no black man should go to heaven. A black man doesn't have a soul. A black man, like a dog, does not belong in heaven. only the whites, the pure, And then how do you come in and try and save people like that, who you think do not belong to heaven? There are lots and lots of contradictions, which once you get through to them, you find that there is no basis, there is no foundation. They make up things as they go. It's what's convenient for them. So we as materialists,
Brother Coco,
always, continue.
Now that you've mentioned, let me just chip in whilst you continue. So remember the song you're talking about, that the black man should not go to heaven. Remember the song by the Congolese artists, the song
Yes.
Nakumitunaka.
Namitunaka.
Yeah,
I
the
ask
song
myself.
that the Pope tried to ban.
Yes, absolutely. Is that. So I think what we are getting here from our Osagiyefo, Dr. Nkuma, is always keep your eyes open, always be on the lookout. The main, look out, be on the lookout, be alert. Never ever miss a moment, because in African, you always have to go look where you slipped, not where you fell. I think we need to realize that. Let's look where we slipped as Africans and correct that going forward. When we talk about history all the time, lots of people say you're spending too much in the past, but we are learning from the past. And look where Dr. Nkuma is going. He's going as far back as Greek philosophers to learn where these people got their thinking from. Get it? So it's important to understand from the past. Use it as a compass for the future. It is a compass for where you should be going. So thank you for tonight.
But before you go, comment directly on the passage itself. Link it to all that you have said. Thanks.
So seeds. Everything is made up of seeds, including humans, because humans are made up of seeds, and animals made up of seeds, plants made up of seeds. And then after talking about seeds, which you could actually go back and say it's materialism and nobody can query that, then we talk about motion, and we think, where does this motion come from? What motion? And I mean, why just motion? Why not the sun? The sun is there. It's helpful for the seeds to grow. Why just motion? Then we're talking about that contradiction again. We are just talking about something in abstract. Whereas we already know that the materialists were seeds. Materialism or materials. We create life and aggregation of everything, seeds. But the seeds need lots and lots of ingredients, lots of environment to happen. But somehow, as Pigmin has rightly said, and I think Sister Ida said, we are probably trying to, appease someone who was in power at the time, or people were still in denial. They still wanted to hold on to the idealist approach. I hope that is clear.
It is. And before you go, before I move on to a woman, what is the word for seed in your language?
Ew.
The language that is the source of farmers for thought.
Southern Africa is a variety. For us is pale.
And what does it literally mean?
Pale is a seed.
What does it literally mean?
As in the seed. Pale is a foundation, actually. We're talking about pale, something which you put stuff on. Because you can say To put is to obey, and Peu is that which provides the solid foundation for anything to grow from.
There you go. That's from the word seed. Swahili. What's the word for seed in Swahili, Brother Pigeon?
It's mbegu.
And the literal meaning?
Mbegu. Mbegu. It's just the same seedling. It's just the same seedling. What actually germinates or bring life to?
So in my language, the word for seed is ku, nuku. Now, ku is a word for death. And so in my language, philosophically, we are saying that death is also life, because it is from nuku that you get things growing. Because if you put the seed in the ground, it has to die. When it dies, we say eku, which it has died. The seed itself is nuku, which means that which is dead. And yet, that which is dead, which is the corn, when you put the corn in the ground, it's nuku, and yet it grows. So that is what we are talking about here. So when Anaxagoras is saying seeds, we are reading it in English. Now go back into Greek and understand where he's coming from. The English word, sometimes English is not very helpful when you want to understand things. So for me personally, I always take things back to my mother tongue if I really want to understand what these people are saying. And that's where I get it. And that's why we have an advantage. When I say we, I mean those of us who speak more than one language. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not putting anyone down, but if you speak different languages, you find that you have a kind of advantage in terms of how to understand things. And you can move between languages, which is just amazing. So thank you, Brother Coco, for that. Let's now hear a woman. So we'll now go to our own sister who read, Sister Chizomo, who did a reading for us. Teacher Chizomo.
Hello.
Yep.
The philosophy of a seed.
You did a reading, so share your thinking with us. And you've heard from lots of people.
Well, I hear a lot about sowing a seed in the church, that if you plant something, you'll get something out of it, or you plant to get something out of it. And this one is talking about planting and the universe. And the universe, that everything, every object is a seed. Oh, yeah, and there's some truth in it. I remember walking around today and all this thing about money here, money there, money here, money there. So in the end, I said to myself, maybe I'm just planting a seed. I shouldn't stop complaining. Just
do something.
God will give me something in the end for this that has happened. So that's how I calmed myself down.
But you know, in the church, when they say plant a seed, they mean give us your money. Give us, and God will bless you. So now God will bless me if I give my money to you. How about you give me your money and God will bless you, the pastor?
So it happened to me today. So in the end, I said to myself, just think of it as a seed. Maybe I'll get something out of it. Yeah.
Is that all you have to say about the reading?
That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing a practical perspective. We should all start sowing seeds. Let's now hear a woman. So it would be, sorry, brother. It would be Brother Carrington, please. Thank you. For those of you who don't know, Brother Carrington is our resident physicist. It means that if we have arguments about physical theory, he is a final arbiter. What he says is final. Thank you.
Not really. As I usually say, hi everyone. My name is Carrington Kinyanji. Happy to be here. What I picked out from this passage is first, in the first section, the Osajefo is trying to sort of summarize what he has been trying to say the previous few pages, essentially most of this chapter. This idea that philosophy informs someone's ideology, ideology informs someone's policy, and policy informs their actions. We hear a lot of how there is no ideology in our political class in Africa, and that is the problem. I would like to challenge this. There is an actual ideology. It's just that the ideology that our political class practices is a self-serving ideology, that they are entitled to the resources of the continent in cahoots with international multinational companies. That is the ideology that practices, and that if anyone challenges their power, they are wont to use violence against anybody who challenges this power. This is essentially the ideology of most African governments. So it is there. It's not, and it comes from a philosophy of entitlement. I am the king. What I say is final. I am the king of my country. So that is a very good point. How philosophy informs ideology. Sorry? Yes.
And here you are the king when it comes to physics.
No, not at all, not at all. And that, by the way, explains why societies with higher tolerance for such people, who tolerate the leadership of such people, stagnate while others move. It is just a matter of fact of being trapped in the past. So philosophy informs ideology, which informs policy, which informs action in the environment, which then back informs philosophy. So societies are very dynamical sort of plastic things. I was very interested in this concept of the seed, like everyone. I think a lot of our ancestors, and this metaphor of the seed, as has been explained by Coco, by Brother Christian, is very powerful, not just in Greek mythology, Greek philosophy, but also in African philosophy. Why? Our ancestors are not foolish. They plant this small thing into the ground, and somehow an entire tree, an entire plant comes out of this seed. So they understand that a lot of the information for how to grow a plant, a maize plant, cassava, comes from, is trapped in this very small thing. So from that, you can generalize that there can be, if there are seeds for plants, then there can be such a thing as seeds. Again, use it as a metaphor, not literally, as Brother Christian has reminded us. There can be seeds for the entire universe. Now, Anaxagoras tries to write in intelligence, let's call it intelligence, into the process of creation of the universe. Just like you bring out your winnowing trough and try to separate the chaff from the seeds, you need some sort of intelligence, the way Anaxagoras sees it, in order to separate seeds into specific types and also bring them together to generate specific objects. So this is the role Anaxagoras sees intelligence playing in the generation of the universe. So while I agree with the position that it could be possible that he is trying to pacify the theocratic class, I also see some sensibility in what he's trying to do. Now, as to the question of whether this is materialist or idealist, it depends entirely on the nature of this intelligence. If this intelligence is a spiritual intelligence, then Anaxagoras is an idealist. But if it is a material intelligence, remember, a cow, human beings, elephants are all intelligent but material beings. So if this intelligence is material, somehow connected to the, let's call it, the fabric of the cosmos, the fabric of the universe, then Anaxagoras is consistently materialist. So, and that is why the principle of motion, it's a principle of motion. Think of it as a law, a regulating law, something like that. I could see how this regulating law would fit in with a materialist universe. But nonetheless, the other interpretation is equally valid. I just wanted to propose that this alternative. Thank you.
Brother Carrington, do you think that, well, before that, you mentioned philosophy of rights, but we in this class say there are only two philosophies, idealism or materialism. So where is the philosophy of rights coming from?
So again, it depends. as you've said correctly, you could distill all configurations of philosophy into two, materialist and idealist. There is an idealist philosophy of rights. I will quote it. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all are created equal.
You mean an idealist ideology of rights?
Ideology, yes, yes. Right. But there is an idealist philosophy of rights. There is such a thing.
The philosophy is one. It hasn't changed. The philosophy is that the universe, whatever you want to talk about, is made up of spirits and their ideas. That is the fundamental philosophy.
Of idealism, correct.
Now, how it is used in this class, we say it is an ideological instrument.
Yes, because why? Because it gives you information for how to organize society, i.e. ideology. Yeah. So Pan-Africanism is an ideology, right?
Sorry, Pan-Africanism, yes.
Yes, yes.
Pan-Africanism is an ideology.
Yes.
It's our ideology for unifying, liberating, and developing the continent. Yes. But even in that ideology, there are three, as you know, contending ideologies.
Yes.
There are the liberals who want a big market where they replace the capitalists, and they are the ogas or the chiefs in the African market. And then we have the conservatives, as you know, who are only interested in themselves and their families, who also want total control for their families and themselves. We have some of them in office.
Right now, as we speak. Yes.
So there are competing ideologies. So it's not everyone who says, I am a Pan-Africanist. I am a Pan-Africanist is on our side. And we need to be mindful of that.
Yes, that's true.
The other question I want to ask you is that where do you think, you said that you could read Anaxagoras both ways. Where do you think he actually is, according to the texts?
According to the
side of materialists or idealists? According to the text.
Because he does not make an attempt at explaining the intelligence, or at least according to the text that I have right now, you please feel free to correct me. He does not make an attempt at explaining the source of this intelligence or the nature of this intelligence that regulates these seeds, I would then ascribe it effectively to a spiritual and therefore idealist position. Yeah.
Let's explain where water comes from.
Very fair point.
But
my disagreement here is that the generating force in the universe is the seeds. You see, so the seeds.
Currently, hold on. He has not explained where the seeds come from, has he?
But the seeds, you see, the seeds are the postulate. But this
what is the source of the
seeds? It does not need to explain, just like water does not need to be explained in.
Why are you asking the source of his?
But the regulator is not the source. You see, the regulator is not the source.
But that's what we are trying to find
out. So the regulator needs to be explained.
That's what we are trying to find out. Where did he say the regulator comes from?
So he has two implicit assumptions. Yes, exactly. The regulator comes from where we don't know. And the seeds comes from where we don't know. So he has two assumptions. Yeah.
Okay, so let me push you with a third question.
Yes.
Is Samara not right then? This
guy is a fraud. Sorry?
This guy is a fraud.
No. They are using limited information.
I am pushing Sister Mara's narrative a bit further.
Because, explain, please. Yeah.
You know, the reason I say so, it's a question to you, is which class uses seeds?
The farmers.
The farmers. And we saw that the farmers were part of which class?
Let's say the traditional theocratic.
Precisely.
The landowners. Yeah.
Precisely. So the landowners and the aristocratic priesthood, that's where the seeds are coming from. Yeah. And where is the mind coming from?
So now I'm speculating.
What mischief do you think he's trying?
Not mischief. He could be seeking harmony between two opposing schools of thought also.
Yes,
not necessarily mischief.
But currently doesn't like the word strive, so maybe that will that is a useful way of looking at it. So he was looking for harmony.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
But aren't they looking for harmony in Palestine?
Huh? Sorry?
Are they not seeking harmony in Palestine?
I would ask who. If it's the Americans, I would dismiss it. I'm sorry, I will dismiss it. Both Republicans and Democrats, I will dismiss their harmony. Yeah.
You don't think they want harmony in Palestine?
The only people who want harmony in Palestine are Palestinians.
I see. Okay, so
good answer.
So in that sense, Anaxagoras is more mischievous than I even thought.
Fair.
Right. Let's hear another woman. Thank you, Brother Carrington. Let's hear from Sister Marlene. You need to unmute yourself, Sister Marlene.
I just said in the church, I haven't really heard, but I can make my comment.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not reading what you said in the chat, Sister Marlene.
Okay. I said I didn't hear the reading.
Oh, you didn't hear this reading. Okay.
I didn't hear it, but
but you've heard what Brother Carrington said.
Yes.
Are you able to add to what he said? Or just comment on what you think he said.
What he said, what about Palestine, or about which part of what he said?
Oh, any part you like, in terms of how. So Brother Carrington.
Yes.
For the benefit of Sister Marlene, can you just summarize what you said again?
So
I don't want to summarize for you. Yeah. So Sister Marlene can build on what you say.
Yeah.
Thanks.
There were two. Yes, I talked about two things. One, this idea of how philosophies translate into realities through the philosophy, having a philosophy of the world, which then shapes an ideology, how you think society ought to be organized. And then this then defines your policy, how you will actually do the organization, and the actions, finally the actions which will follow your policy. And therefore, this tells you how beliefs of the world end up shaping the world, and how the shape of the world ends up shaping beliefs. Yes, this self-modifying. And I also talked about seeds and how information for generating not just a plant, but the entire universe could be contained in a metaphorical seed. And the role of this intelligence, maybe trying to argue that this intelligence could be materialist also. Yes.
I'm not sure you've helped Sister Malin there.
Well, what I can say,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, what do you make of it?
Yeah, what I make of it, the philosophy of the world will be shaped by the dominant power who wants to shape it to suit their advantage. And they will always leave the ones that think in a different way to them behind, because like you said, the only people want peace in Palestine is the people. And
Palestinians. Yeah, according to Brother Carrington, yes.
Sorry?
I say yes, you're right, Sister Brother Carrington says the Palestinians.
Yeah. And they're the only one that benefits. So, like I said, who has been shaping our world for the last 400-500 years? Their philosophy is not going to help those who would like to live in peace and harmony with each other, because the greed of the world is what's shaping our world today. And the mass of the people are the struggling people who are paying the price. And unfortunately, they turn on each other because they really don't realize what is the real problem, why they're in the situation they're in. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well put, Sister Marlene.
Okay.
Let's now hear from Brother Glenroy. Thank you.
Brother Glenroy's left a message in the chat saying he's stepped away from his computer but listening.
Right. Okay. In that case, let's see. Brother Decking Mauli. Mauli is not ready, so let's hear from Sister Flumina, please. Thank you.
Good afternoon, evening, morning, depending on where you're coming from.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
We're well, thank you.
I'm Flomina Musheke from Kenya, a youth and a passionate Pan-African. And basically, I didn't get to hear the first reading, but what I can say about everything about the Kwame Nkrumah's book, his writing, and all what he says about Africa is that as Africans, is the time for us to be astute. It's the time for us to become more passionate, more dedicated, and more have more we resonate with our country, with our Africa, with our nation, with our continent, because there's so much of the white that we've tried to bring into us Africans, and we've forgotten our trails and lanes. And I feel it's the high time for us as Africans to really stand up and resonate with what makes us Africa. And as a youth in Africa, I believe all the resources that I ever need are in Africa. I don't have to go to the US to go and become a better version of myself. I'm a better version in my African country, and I'm proud that I'm able to push all that resources that are provided for me here and make moves in my own way and in my own country and among the youth. Well, I can say basically I've been listening to most of the of what everybody's saying, and I can say that about the seed, for me, I feel it's more of spiritual. At the same time, I still feel there's a very big gap. Also in our spiritual and cultural ways, people have taken in now that if I don't have money to take to the church, if I don't have something big to give, I'm basically almost a nobody in that area. Another thing is that we plant seeds and they grow, but whatever we are planting into our youths, whatever our nations, the people who are powerful, the powerful persons, the few powerful are planting is a lot of pain and bitterness because they're not ready to take up and bring transparency as it's supposed to be. They're just there to sit down and execute everything using their power, which is demeaning to every youth and African. Because if I am powerful, I should use my power to make sure that people are comfortable, that people are achieving, that the youths of Africa are getting what they're supposed to be getting, you know. But power is being misused, which is a seed to me. It is a seed that's supposed to be planted in a positive manner, but it's being planted in a very, very negative manner, which is leaving bitterness to us as youth. And that's why we say in Kenya, anguka nayo, which means we're gonna make that power now start being more, have transparency and have more of what as a youth in Kenya and Africa I need. I need somebody to use their power properly for me to maneuver. I don't need to go to the US to have a PhD. I can have a PhD in Kenya if everything is put in line with what I believe as a youth. That's my submission. I'm grateful. I should come early next time so that I listen to the meeting.
That's fine. Flomena, thank you so much for what you shared. And it's interesting because our forefathers, as you know, the Nkrumahs, the Azikiwes, and so on, they couldn't get PhDs on the continent. It just wasn't there. So they had to travel to the land of the colonizer, whether it was England, whether it was Germany, whether it was France, in order to get PhDs. And as you quite rightly said, they have laid a foundation for us to get PhDs in Africa. So thank you for reminding us. You said in the chat that, well, as a proud Pan-Africanist, Kwame Nkrumah's philosophy resonates deeply with me and should inspire every young African. His vision for a united and self-reliant Africa challenges us to break free from the shackles of colonial mentality and to work towards the economic and political independence of our continent. He reminds us that our rich heritage and resources are the keys to our future, and that the education of our minds and the collective welfare of our people are paramount in building the Africa we want. And then you end by saying, Sister Philomena, by saying we must carry forward his legacy by uniting, innovating, and uplifting our communities to create a truly independent and prosperous Africa. Wow. Beautiful. Thank you so much for these words. And truly, this is what this class is about. It's about teaching the philosophy and ideology with which we can combat the imperialist forces so that we can create, as you say, a truly independent and prosperous Africa. Whenever you can join us on Saturdays when we have conversations around the independent and prosperous Africa. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'll do exactly that.
my dear sister. Thank you. Let's now hear from Brother James. I think he's joined. Has he joined us back? He had challenges with at his internet. James Aporeku. Have I pronounced it right?
That is very right, sir. Thank you so much. I wish I can.
James, where are you based?
I'm currently in the United States. I'm at work right now, so
and where do you come from?
I'm sorry, I'm a Ghanaian by nationality.
Okay, your name? Which part of Ghana is it from?
I'm northern part of Ghana, Nandon.
Yes, our brothers. You know what they used to say about you guys? That you guys were so dedicated, and no one could bribe people from the north. That's why the colonialists made sure you were in the police, police force, because nobody could bribe you. Anyway.
I wish I could join the discussion some other time so that I can say something more. But for now, I'm a little bit tired. Is that okay?
That's fine. Just so you know, we meet on Thursdays and Saturdays. So Brother Pigeon will be in touch with you again as normal, and then he will share with you.
Thank you so much.
So you can join us when you can. Thank you.
I'm very grateful. Thank you for the opportunity.
In fact, we are privileged to have you. Thank you. Thank you. Sister Shireen. My dear sister, are you able to speak where you are?
Can you hear me?
I can. I hope we all can. Yes. What do you think?
Sorry, Brother Kwame? Brother Kwame?
Yes. What do you think?
I've come in quite late, so I don't really have much to contribute.
Okay.
I apologize.
That is understandable. So continue to listen.
Indeed.
We've got about 13 minutes left. So
thank you. And my eyes are playing up, so I need to read it and digest it before I say anything. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I think we've heard from everyone. Brother Mauli couldn't speak. I don't know whether he can speak now. So that is it. I think we will bring the meeting to a conclusion and listen to announcements from Brother Pigeon. We are missing some of our brothers and sisters. We are missing Brother Joseph, Sister Pamela, Brother Nkrumah Kafa, and others. So if you are able to get in touch with them, let them know that we miss them, that we look forward to their rejoining us. Okay, Brother Pigeon. Can we have... Oh, Brother Pigeon is gone. Is he? Brother Pigeon is... Oh, yeah, he's there. Brother Pigeon. Yes.
I'm here. Do you want us to early?
Yeah, it's 20:48, so it's only 12 minutes left. So we can hear... Yes. Can you hear me? We can hear the news and then bring the meeting to a close. It's always good to finish on time.
Okay. So thank you all for your attendance today. This is what you do, and I do appreciate the few people who have joined us today for the first time, of course. As I've mentioned, I'm actually a director of youth and capacity building under the African Young Leaders Foundation, and the co-founder, Brother James, is here. The founder, Brother James, is here. And this is an organization with young people who are either as leaders of various countries across the continent, and there's a potential to see how we can engage the younger people towards advancing and understanding this philosophy for the purpose of leadership and liberation of Africa. Secondly, I'd like to say that I have uploaded the 2 recordings of the previous 2 weeks, which is the past 2 weeks. I haven't been able to share the links, but I will share the links of those previous 2 weeks tomorrow for the new broadcast. So we have had a new broadcast, and we've included more people, including sisters who are joining us now. So I will share that by tomorrow. This Saturday, we was of course having the same conversation on the unity of Africa. And as Brother Kwame said, yes, our unity conversation is geared towards actually fulfilling the political aspiration of Kwame Nkrumah of Africa must unite. So you are all welcome for the unity conversation or the unity session we'll be having, where we check across the news and what's happening in Africa, so that we can really have the practical aspect of even the philosophy you're discussing. Is it in reality or in tandem with what's going on in the Africa? Are we ever moving towards the unification of continent or moving away from the unification? And what must we do? That's always a big question. What must be done? So we invite you for that on this Saturday. I'll share the link as well for that. And yes, we are actually working so much on the Pan-African technical working groupings. We are looking forward to have a group of various Pan-Africans who can come together in various sections to start looking and coming up with a roadmap for the liberation of the continent in regards to the economics, education, and all other activities that are geared towards the liberation of Africa. So our progress is almost at an advanced stage, and we'll soon be calling out for nominations or for actual registration for those who are interested to join various parts or various subcommittees or working groups for Pan-African liberation, so that we can work together and produce a common document in a year term, probably, that can then unify us as African liberators from having or by having Afrocentric system that can help us. On Thursday, we will go ahead with our class as usual from same as 7 p.m. London time or 6 p.m. GMT. The link is the same with this link you got today, and I'll reshare the same link with all of us. So basically, that's what I have to say. And again, of course, the team from Brother Coco, just I'm reminded, they'll be starting their readiness program by 31st, and the program will be going on for 3 days. Those who are interested to do that, that's a program that were actually presented to us by Brother Mafole for Readiness for Change and the Healing Program. So those who will be interested can still get in touch with Brother Coco and also Brother myself, so that you can get updates in regards to that. Unless there's any other update that somebody want to tell us on any activity they engage in Pan-African course, well and good, but so far that's the end of this. Brother Kwame, back to you.
Yeah, thank you. Brother Hosser Atipu, you joined us slightly towards the end, so you probably missed a lot of the conversations, but you can listen to the video that Brother Pigeon will release later to hear the discussions that we had. We hope you are doing well, and it's good to have you back with us. So that is it. On the screen is our reading for next week, where it builds on Anaxagoras and so on, and we will continue reading. Now, let's remember why we are reading this. This chapter 2 is philosophy and society. So it's looking at the relationship between philosophy and society. And you can understand why that question, because we have to unite, develop, and liberate Africa based on a philosophy. Unless we are clear philosophically, we will be lost. And there's always a relationship between philosophy and society. And that relationship is very important. So that's why chapter 2 is drawing our attention to the need for us to understand that relationship. So thank you all very much. That, I think, is it. Unless someone has any final comments. I'm very pleased we are finishing quite on time today.
I have a comment.
Yes, Sister Grace.
Yeah. In terms of a seed, somebody said they feel it's spiritual.
The what, sorry?
And that the seed is spiritual.
Yes, Sister Flomena said it could be seen that way. Yes.
Yeah. And also I think somebody said something to do with an idea. So now I go back to my vice president, Vice Chilima, who died. And that's what people are saying. He was a seed that was planted that has given the young people in this country an ideology to follow the way he was conducting himself, what he was saying, what he was looking out for the future of the country. and how to mindset changing to make Malawi better, to make Malawi's future, and that people must believe that Malawi will change, things will get better. So that's the mantra that's going on at the moment.
What's his name? Sister Chizomo?
Saulos Chilima. So I was even on the bus today. Is this matatu, what people call matatu, and Kabaza. Kabaza, there's another small one, like a bike, like
yes.
They're all discussing it.
Mm.
It was strange. That's all they're talking about. Oh, this happened. They're now telling me because they feel I don't know what happened and what. Yeah. So they're all explaining. Even somebody from village was saying, "Oh, this is what happened, and this is what is happening now, and this is what's going to happen. This is how we're going to change."
Right.
The person running the KK, they called it KK. That's what the last transport I got coming here where I am staying. And he was just going on and on and on. And I'm thinking, oh my God, they're getting it. They're not on the streets. They're not at the these are the people who wouldn't go to the candlelit dinners. I mean candlelight events. But they're talking, they're on the streets and they're talking the same language. They've understood it. So the seed is planted. Thank you.
No, thank you. So it looks like our philosophical discussion is lighting up candles on the ground in other parts of the world. Any final comments from anyone?
What I was going to say, is it just a
Marlene?
paragraph we're reading now?
The one on the screen is what we will, you can read it in advance for discussion next week.
What page is that?
This is, Brother Pigeon, can you help me with the page number? I haven't got my let me get my book.
We are in page 39. We are in page 39, first paragraph. So we'll be going to the second paragraph. I can share this soft copy on the broadcast so that everybody can have their copy.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
So thank you. So remember, all of you, we have an electronic version of the book. So if you don't have a copy, we can always share it with you.
So we can read it in advance, and then we can read it when we come back.
Yes.
And then someone can read it when we come back. That remind us.
Precisely.
You have to be on time, Sister Marlene. If you want
Oh yeah, I will.
Yeah.
You have to finish her dinner first.
I just finished it actually.
Right. Who else has any final comments? It's 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, and I'm off.
Okay, I'm off
Saturday,
as well.
I hope. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all very much.
Who have you got behind?
Have a wonderful weekend.
Nkrumah.
Oh, is it Nkrumah? Okay.
We will meet you or see you on Saturday. If you can't join us, rejoin us on Thursday, where we continue with the philosophy and ideology of progressive Pan-Africanism. Thank you and good night, good morning,
Wonderful. Night,
good
night.
afternoon.
Night. Bye.